You get sent back to September 10, 2001 to prevent the attack on September 11. You have no proof of what's going to happen. How will you prevent the attack? Start saving up and start buying Amazon stocks, then Bitcoin, and become a billionaire. Wait, what was the question? See, what scares me is that if you invested like 10K into Bitcoin, it would butterfly effect into Bitcoin having no worth. Call the World Trade Center Chief of Security John O'Neill. He was a retired FBI agent who had investigated the bombing of the USS Cole. I reckon he would take the call seriously and inform the FBI. Hopefully they will listen to him. When I was in middle school, there was this time for a few months when someone would call in a bomb threat like twice a week. They'd send us out to the playground while they swept the rooms, which is stupid since we always gathered at the same place, so if they wanted to get us they'd put it in the playground, but that's neither here nor there. The point I'm making is they happened so often with nothing happening they eventually stopped evacuating us. I wonder how often the WTC got bomb threats that they wouldn't evacuate the whole building based on one person's phone call. Especially with Op saying we wouldn't have any proof in this scenario. Good point. The difference here is that O'Neill would be given specific information like the names of the 19 terrorists and the flight numbers. That would give credibility to the call. A call to the airlines to confirm the names given match the passenger lists would get the attention of the feds. Call in bomb threats to the specific airports with the flight numbers. Even back then they probably would have been taken seriously enough to delay the flights and cause enough investigation to find a hijacker or two. That's a good solution. I was thinking call in a bomb threat to the towers, but that wouldn't stop billions in property damage and loss of life from firefighters and other support staff. They'd also probably take a bomb threat at an airport more seriously than at the WTC. I don't know if one phone call would be warrant enough to evacuate the whole WTC. It might be enough to stop them at the airport though. Ever hear of the man who predicted 9/11? A man named Rick Rescorla had come from Wales and enlisted in the US Army. Was at the Battle of Nha Trang in Vietnam. We were soldiers is based on this, and afterward was hired for security at WTC. He stated many times that not only was it a soft target but they'd try truck bombs, as they did in 1993, and kamikaze aircraft attacks. No one listened. Edit, he died in the attack trying to lead people out. More importantly, he had his entire company run drills in the event of similar situations and told all Morgan Stanley employees in the WTC and nearby buildings to ignore the Port Authority's instructions, to remain at their desks, and evacuate immediately. Only 5 of the 2,700 employees under his protection died. That is the most amazing thing to me. He made them practice every 3 months and had evacuation plans in effect. Even visitors were shown the emergency exits. The 5 that died were above the point of impact, and Colonel Rescorla was the 6th person from Morgan Stanley to die. He was last seen running back into the building because he was not about to rest until he knew people were safe. I did on a speech on him and had to take that part out because I started to cry every time. Try to hijack a plane the day before and purposefully fail and pretend to rat them out. That's actually really smart. You could demand a presidential pardon and then confess on your teammates. I'd figure out another way. Call me selfish, but if time travel were possible I'd have a few more brainstorming sessions trying to hammer out a result that didn't result with me in prison for the rest of my life. Call into every FBI office with the details. Give up on doing it anonymously. They'll believe it more, if they believe it at all. You'll be accused of being part of the plot and spend the rest of your life in jail. Question is, will you remember the details? Which flights? I can say I remember that there were 19 Saudi hijackers across 4 different flights. I think flying out of New York. Flying out to California to maximize gas load. Exploring 5 9/11 alternate timelines. This video goes into why stopping it may not actually be a good idea. If you were sent back to 9/10, the thing to do is call the FBI and the airports the planes will be taking off from. Say you were sitting at a Pizza Hut in Portland, Maine when you overheard some Middle Eastern guys talking about how they were going to hijack flights American 11, American 77, United 175, and United 93 that next day. They'll have box cutters and fake bombs on them which you can search for. Edit, thanks to those enjoying the video. It's actually part of a bigger project called American September, which collects "Where were you on September 11th" memories. Feel free to share your own stories. That's the best answer I've seen here. Yeah. Just stopping it could cause so much suspicion and madness. If you tip them off on something more plausible it could work a lot better. What, and get myself stuck in a grandfather paradox. How many doomed time travelers are stuck in a loop of being born, going back, dying at 9/11, and being born again? Not me, thanks. This seems like a good idea for a horror movie, where a time traveler goes back into the past, falls in love with a girl and has a child. Then dies trying to stop a mass tragedy. That child grows up with trauma of losing his parents and dedicates his life to stopping it, eventually becoming the time traveler that goes back into the past. Get naked and very greasy and run around the building screaming about the attacks an hour before. It does not stop it, but catching a greased up guy is super hard, and all the conspiracy theories will also feature a greased up naked guy who warned everyone and got away. Edit, do this with a bunch of greasy naked midgets instead. I just want to see how this gets spun into the conspiracy theory stories. Realistically? Look at the date, go, oh I have 3 months to stop this from happening, and then freak out, like I do every year, when I realize that 9/11 happened in September, not November. Lol same. Cries in European.